one international podcast and DJ mixes.
That's right.
With the Go Loud app. Discover podcasts like Common Sense, Red Table Talk, The Breakfast Club, and the best mixes from DJs worldwide, and much more. Stream all of your favorite local radio stations in one app. Go loud on what matters to you. Download the Go Loud app in the App or Play Store today and start listening.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to this morning's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. The world in recent weeks have been experiencing record high oil prices, which has in turn led to those taking taxes from oil companies to register record high tax revenues, a far cry from the state of affairs in Guyana. According to reports, ExxonMobil's home state in the U.S., among the highest earners in the Texas oil and natural gas industry, continues to pay the lion's share. The industry is not only leading the U.S. in oil and natural gas production, it also continues to break records in the amount of taxes it pays and the number of jobs it creates. June's remittances alone, a total of $1.12 billion were greater than the average annual revenue from oil and natural gas production taxes at $1 billion just a few decades ago. Under the Guyana-Exxon arrangement, Guyana is losing out on the taxes being had by others, since by agreeing to pay the oil company's tax, this is essentially foregone revenue. In fact, in the first year of oil production in Guyana, the country in fact agreed to take on responsibility for taxes more than what it collected in royalty that year. Meanwhile, the prosecution in the case of a Better Hope East Coast Demerara businessman who was held at the Chedijagan International Airport back in 2016 with $4 million worth of jewelry was unable to present evidence to support the two money laundering charges that the police instituted against the businessman. He was alleged to have attempted to export gold without a license and failure to declare a gold band and gold neckwear, which collectively weighed 19.12 ounces and had an estimated value of $4.15 million. The incident occurred on January 19, 2016 at the CJIA. In other news, Police Constable Sherwin Peters of Amelius Ward Linden was on Thursday committed to stand trial in the High Court for the killing of Essequibo Coast businessman Orrin Boston. Peters, 32, a member of the SWAT unit, was committed by Magistrate Esther Sam at the Study Magistrates Court. Following the preliminary inquiry into the matter, Magistrate Sam ruled that there was sufficient evidence for Peters to stand trial for manslaughter before a judge and jury. Peters is expected to begin his trial at the next practicable sitting of the Essequibo Assizes. And moving on, the national insurance scheme depended on by thousands of Guyanese at the end of March this year was still in a financial hole to the tune of some $892 million. The state of affairs is illustrated in pellucid fashion in the most recent quarterly report to be released by the country's central bank, Bank of Guyana. According to the recently released document, NIS overall balance recorded a lower deficit of $892 million. It was noted that this, however, did reflect a lower deficit relative to the corresponding period for the previous years. And now let's tell you, newly elected executives of the AFC have decided to part ways with the APNU by the end of this year. When the Cummingsburg Accord, the agreement binding the two political groups, comes to an end. This was announced by chairperson of the AFC, Catherine Hughes, during the party's first press conference following its internal elections last month. Hughes told members of the media that the decision to walk away from the coalition was taken at the national conference, where the 200 members decided that upon the expiry of the current agreement, a renewal will not be facilitated to bind the parties. Instead, she said the AFC will focus on rebuilding and walking on its own feet. And to wrap things up, while Gaisuco announced on Wednesday that there is no shortage of sugar countrywide, a number of popular supermarkets are reporting that there is indeed a shortage and are uncertain to say when they would have in stock. Gaisuku said it wishes to advise the general public that there is no shortage of sugar for supermarkets, manufacturers, and bakeries. We visited several major supermarkets around the city yesterday to check and see if reports are indeed true. When we arrived at one of Massey's Mini-Mart, not a sight of the Demerara Gold sugar was in store. A staffer said that there is currently a countrywide shortage and that they have been out of that sugar for some days. The staffer also communicated that they are unsure when the store will have those sugars back in stock. Other major supermarkets in Georgetown shared similar sentiments. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. And that brings us to the end of this morning's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.